Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, and today we have a very special guest in Oscar Gill. He is the owner of R3 Detailing in Texas, and also the YouTube channel that you're probably familiar with, Detail Groove. And as of yesterday, at least at the time of this recording, has his own product line. So we're going to get all into that today. So Oscar, welcome to the podcast.
Mr. Jimbo, thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. The last episode we did was 4 or 5 years ago, I think. So
it's getting weird because I started the podcast in 2014. So it's been, I'm coming up on 10 years of doing it. And so I forget episodes, and then stuff like this happens where it's like, hey, we talked 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah.
It's been that long. That's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. And we're still here pumping out content.
We're still here, man. I remember probably back in 2016 ish. Yeah. 2016, 2017. Yeah, which would have been about 8 years ago, seeing you come up on YouTube and all that.
That's crazy.
And, you know, so you've been on the grind too, man. So tell us about it. How's everything been going?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's funny because it's all been the same though. You know, like even if you go back 6-7 years ago, like I was posting on YouTube and running the detailing business, and you fast forward to now, it's like I'm posting on YouTube and running the detailing business. It's just the you know, I mean, obviously, if you go back 6, 7, even 2 years ago, it's a completely different like Oscar and like, you know, where things are with the business and such. But like if you were to just on paper be like, yeah, 6 years ago, making content, running a detailing business, 2023 on paper, like making content and running a detailing business. So in that sense, it's all the same, just at different levels of where we are with the business and such.
Take us back just as a quick refresher. Like what was it? Why did you want to start putting out content about detailing way back when?
Dude, yeah, I think that one was out of because I remember I struggled the first 4 years in my detailing business from 2011 to 2014, and then when I figured out the answer, which was marketing, big shocker, right? When I figured out what I actually had to do to get customers and make money, I just felt kind of like defeated or like embarrassed because I waited so long to like figure it out, and once you figure it out, you're like, oh, that's all you had to do. So I remember like I was like, bro, this sucked. Like I just want to share it with someone to say like, you don't have to wait nowhere near as long as I did to like figure it out. So it was out of like just to try to help someone else. Like you don't have to go through those same struggles. Like the answer is marketing. Like that is the answer. So I know that was like I just remember like, no, I need to tell someone like this is just the answer is just marketing.
Isn't that I always get so frustrated with like my parents specifically or older people when you have revelations like this, and it's like, dude, you guys could have told me this. Like, you know, so I understand what you're saying of like, I just got to tell someone because no one told me and I had to find out the hard way. And like, this is the golden ticket, right? And it's like, why did no one tell me this? This is so frustrating, you know?
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
That's the crazy thing. Like, it's like anyone that's struggling, or, I mean, not that, I mean, you have the book right there, Alex Hormozy, like he talks about it too, of like, not that it'll solve all problems, but it'll solve most of your problems, or at least it'll get you to the next phase of problems, right? Like right now, if you're struggling, not getting customers or making money, marketing obviously will help you get there. And then it's not like your problems go away, right? Because now you have too many customers, or now you have to service, you know, you have 3 cars in one day by yourself, and now you're struggling with that and whatever. Like there's problems at every stage, but man, like and I've been saying the same information since 2015. So like, it's the same thing, like marketing, SEO, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, posting on TikTok, Instagram, like it's all the same thing, but it's like there's still so many people that struggle out there. And I get it. Like if you're not used to like being behind the computer and typing and reading, like you're like, what the heck? Like I want to be a detailer, not, you know, spend hours behind a laptop, but like, that's the answer, you know, like that's literally like what you're supposed to do. Just it's the work behind the laptop that gets you in front of, you know, customers and vehicles out in the field.
I like that one. Yeah.
That just came to my mind right now.
That was good. That was a good one. I like that. It's the work behind the laptop that gets you in front of the customers. I like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think, because I've noticed the same thing too, of like, you know, it's interesting with my content. Sometimes like on my Instagram, I put out these ridiculous short form videos that like, it's kind of me trolling the trolls of like doing the most ridiculous thing I could possibly think of like creating all this foam and then a little tiny brush, right? It's really like, you know, people think I'm crazy, and I am, but it's really just a troll post, right? But it's crazy to me how effective those posts are, right? And it's insane. But every time I go to post, you know, I contrast that with like a post about some like marketing tip or tactic that
like actual useful
information, it's like way flatter than like this ridiculous post. Why do you think that? Is that like all industries? Do you think it's just detailing? I've never been able to figure it out, but it makes no sense to me. Have you figured it out at all, or do you have any theories?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, like, because if you go to, like, for instance, Alex Hormozy, he does nothing but like actual useful information, like it takes off. But yeah,
True.
I think like, because even with him, like if he was to sit behind a computer and show you how to do Facebook ads, I don't think it'd get that many good views either. Like I think you have to stay rather broad in general. But for sure, as a like I know for sure, like for service-based businesses like, us, landscapers, pool installation, like they want to see the before and afters. They want to talk about the tools, the products, the like the big projects. Like I think when you get that tactical, like if I talked about SEO or like I don't know whatever on an Instagram reel or make a YouTube video out of it, it's gonna do crap. Like it's gonna bomb so hard. So yeah, I've seen that too. That's why I also don't make that content. Like, but that's definitely on the medium, because like I'll talk more technical marketing on the podcast, because for some it's like it's a longer conversation.
Right.
You could dive deeper. You're not really constrained by time. But especially on like Instagram Reels, TikToks, I'm not going to talk about unless it's like super high level. Because I've had videos where I talk about marketing and like how it helps and how it grows your business, but I keep it super high level. I use like graphics and such to make it like entertaining, to not lose people's interest. But as a whole, I'm not. I don't create like, here's how you optimize your Google ads on it. It's like it's just
Right.
not. It's gonna get such like crap engagement and no views, no like it's not even worth it at that time.
Yeah. So then, okay. So then you're putting out content on the internet, and does it, it immediately starts helping your detailing business, or you just enjoy it and you like doing it. And then obviously diversified income doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah. So on that one for detail groove content, right? Yeah. So with that one, I remember, this was early on too. When I started the YouTube channel December 15th, 2015. And I remember shortly, or maybe not shortly after, but I remember saying, I don't want Detail Groove to influence anything for my detailing business, because then that would be like anyone would look at me and be like, oh, well, the only reason you're successful is because boom, Detail Groove. So I'd say as of over the last 7 years or so, I think maybe under 10 customers have come through Detail Groove. Okay. Everything else has been through my own local efforts of like local marketing. Because I remember like I just knew like that was gonna happen. It's like if I grow it, if I do whatever, it's like I want it to be based off like I wanted to be able to show like this is a repeatable system. Like you don't have to be a content creator. Like I could not post on anything Detail Groove related on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and the same amount of customers, the same amount of bookings will happen with our business. So on that one, I was very clear from the very beginning of like I don't want Detail Groove to just be the needle mover for the detailing business. So that helped out a lot, because like they're separate. Like the detailing business in itself, whether Detail Groove like has a video that bombs, or has a really good video that like gets a lot of views, or like whatever happens on that side, like the detailing business is consistent and like it keeps on doing its thing, because that has its own marketing efforts. So in that regard, I almost get no customers through Detail Groove intentionally though. Like could I? Obviously, yeah, but I didn't want to do that.
It's probably better though, right? Because like I've had a handful of customers come and they're like, oh, big fan of the channel or the podcast. And it's like, maybe it's just me. I feel super awkward sometimes, like, all right, thanks.
It's almost a little different. Yeah. Cause now they have like this perception of you, and you're like, oh, well, I just can't be, me, Oscar the detailer. Right? I'm Detail Groove right now. And that gets tiring too sometimes. Like whenever like being the persona that in itself gets. I went to Nashville for some jobber podcast, and or even when I went to another brand to go tour their facility and such. It's like whenever you're like the personality, it's like the whole time you're like you just can't be like yourself and chill on the around like on the like you have to be like actively like talking to everyone, and it gets very draining. So yeah, like
it is very draining.
I'm glad more customers aren't from Detail Groove, because they'll look at me as Detail Groove, not as just a detailer that runs the business. So yeah, that part, it also helps out a lot.
Yeah. What was, so going back to, I know it's not sexy content, but considering we're doing a podcast, what was that like? You said you had that moment of like, I got to tell someone about this. What did you need to tell someone about? What was it that finally clicked in your business for you?
Yeah.
Other than knowing it was marketing. I know you had mentioned that, like marketing, marketing, marketing. But what marketing did you do specifically?
Yeah, so it's crazy. Yeah. For me specifically was SEO, search engine optimization. So that's what catapulted my business to like
Mm,
actually get booked and actually make money. And yeah, that like I still vividly remember because like I probably have a bigger emotional attachment to what happened in 2014, 2015 than like anything else I've done, because I remember that was
mm.
like the biggest, like, holy crap, like
Like the
biggest
biggest leap,
transformation.
right?
Yeah, I was like, holy, this is crazy.
Totally.
Like, yeah, like even through everything else we've ever done, like I can
Hmm.
still remember the emotional effect of like my
I
phone's
found
ringing. Like,
something.
yeah, like this
Yeah,
is happening.
yeah.
Like this is
Hmm.
what I've been waiting for, and it's like it's here, it's happening.
Right.
So yeah, that was a search engine optimization. Yeah. I remember like and before then, like it's not like I wasn't doing anything. Like I would read blog posts and books and be like, yeah, you're supposed to market, and like, you know, you're supposed to get referrals and word of mouth and, you know, Facebook ads, or maybe I don't know. Yeah, Facebook ads was a thing at the time. And so it
Google
wasn't
ads,
like
yeah.
I wasn't doing nothing, but it just
Hmm.
nothing ever really hit. So the book that really changed, and it's from the book, The One
Mm.
Thing. Have you heard that book? Or
Yep.
have you
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that one, yeah, my I always recommend those three, like of the top three books I always recommend,
Hmm.
that is always like the number one I recommend.
What are the other two?
Oh
Sorry,
man,
squirrel.
yeah, Psycho Cybernetics
Okay.
by Dan Kennedy
Okay.
and Maxwell something, and
Okay.
then the other one is The Willpower
Okay.
Instinct
Mm.
by something McDouglas or McDougal or something like that. It's a lady.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, the one thing, it's like, and the main premise of the question of the book is like, what's one thing you could do now, such by doing
Mm.
it, everything else becomes easier. And yeah, it's a great book. And all the examples he gave, I was like, man, this makes so much sense. So yeah, as I was listening to the book, audiobook, I was like, so what's like the one thing I need to be doing that like that if this is the one thing I do, like this changes my business.
Mm.
So that's when I was okay, well, I just looked at all the things and I was like, okay, well, I've tried this, I've tried that, I tried this. Let me go back to the website thing. And then from there, like I remember, like I vividly remember saying like, okay, like I'm not gonna do anything else other than SEO. Like I'm not gonna post anything on Instagram. I'm not gonna post anything on Facebook. I'm not gonna do. This is before I started creating content, so like that's all I
Yeah.
had going on, anyways.
And when you say SEO, not to interrupt, but like writing blog posts or optimizing your website for SEO, that's what you're talking about? Or I guess which that would be SEO by definition, right?
Yeah. So I mean, at the time, yeah, it would be blog posts as well. But yeah, it's
Okay.
like optimizing your website as a whole to rank on the first page of Google for
Okay.
local keywords in your area. So yes, I was like, okay, like because at the time I was like struggling
Mm-hmm.
like to grow the business. So at the
Mm-hmm.
time I think I had two jobs at the time. So my time was limited on when I could actually work on the marketing, because I think I had two jobs, and then I was still getting some jobs here and there. Like it wasn't consistent, but like some jobs were booking here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember like literally any free time that I had that wasn't at a job, that wasn't at detailing cars, it was like I'm just working on the website. Like that is my
Got it.
only priority. That's all I'm doing. And it took me 9 months to actually get on the first page of Google. But the actual work wise, I think I did like in 4 months I completed the work. And
Right.
from the fourth month to the ninth month, it was like little tidbits here and there, but like for the most part, like things were set in place. And on that ninth month mark, that's when it was just
Clicked.
yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And then yeah, I think like a week after, I was like, this is so dumb. Like I waited this long to get to this point. Like
Right.
like I already knew SEO like it wasn't like a new thing. It just I didn't look at it with that perspective of like this
Mm.
could change my. And then like I always say, like SEO isn't the only option. Like I could have had that same mentality with Google ads, right? Like if I was
Sure.
like, I'm not doing nothing else except Google ads, then
Sure.
same outcome would have came, right? So it's just like choose a vehicle you want to go down that
Mm-hmm.
road and like just all in and go on that vehicle. So yeah, that was like the big moment of like, whoa, like it
It
happened.
happened.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
crazy.
That's awesome. So you're writing blog posts, you're kind of just optimizing. Are you teaching yourself how to do this? Did you buy a course on it? Like, how did you know, how did you even know what to do?
Yeah, so like I said, like it wasn't like I was never not like proactively looking at how to do things. So before then, like I already knew what SEO was. I read a bunch of Neil Patel SEO
Okay.
blog posts. I watched his
Mhm.
videos. I had bought some like Udemy courses back then. So it wasn't like I didn't know. Like I was aware of what to do.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things where like nothing was clicking. I was like, well, I tried it and it wasn't working. So then I hired forget the website off the top of my head, Phil, but he's a very reputable local SEO expert. Like he's very well known in the local SEO space.
Okay.
And I hired him to give me like a blueprint on what
Mm.
to do. And he didn't do the work. He just like, here's what to do, go execute on that. And I went to go execute on everything. Um, so yeah, so a lot of it, like a big part of that was self-taught
Mhm.
because when I actually hired Phil for some help, he didn't teach me anything. He just like, here's the list of like 12 things you need to go do them. And
Got
I was like,
it.
oh, I know what to do. Like,
Mhm.
so I knew how to do it. I just didn't have like the right, basically like strategy in place of like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yes.
I know what to do, but in what way and what process am I supposed to do this?
Got
And
it.
once I got that, I was like, oh, okay. And I went straight to the races because I'd already done all that pre-work before then.
Got it.
Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, that like made a big difference. Yeah. Like anytime you're going to hire someone or like go do training, it helps to have some for,
100%.
yeah, like we sent Angel to go get trained for vinyl wrapping here in Houston at Jay the Rap Specialist. And like same premise of like for 4 months prior, like every day I would just order film and like
Mm.
Angel just practice. So that way when he went to Jay the Rap Specialist, whatever Jay the Rap was teaching, like he could get it that quicker. And like he already
Mhm.
had preconceived questions, or he already had questions that he knew he wanted to ask him so he can get better. But
That's such a great tip. That is
there was plenty of other people at that class that was their first time ever touching film.
Mhm.
And you could just tell like you guys can't learn anything because like it's your first time seeing film, you know,
Right. So overwhelming.
yeah. So like so even with so yeah, so like it's like same thing that I did in 2015 where I learned by myself and then hired someone is the same thing we do now of like, hey, learn now, get the practice, get the reps, make mistakes. We
Mhm.
send you out to actual training, and then now like you just have such a better mindset of like what to look for to improve yourself.
Isn't that interesting with things like if you weren't slow or struggling in your detailing business, you wouldn't have learned SEO, which exploded your business, right? And so those struggles of trying to learn things and stuff are so valuable, but and then that is just such a great hack to like start practicing before you go to a training, because I have the saying, like, you don't know what you don't know,
Yeah.
and so doing that, getting some practice under your belt. And I think from my own experience, like I went to paintless dent repair school a long time ago. It didn't work
Oh
out,
man, yeah.
but if I would have had, if I would have
Yeah.
practiced for a few months going into it, that would have totally set me off on the right foot. You know the lingo a little bit better, you know what to look for. Like I could see how valuable that would be. That is a great, I love that
Yeah.
tip.
Oh man, yeah. I remember this was way back when as well. I looked into PDR as well. I would like the PDR school, whatever.
Hmm.
And I contacted I can't even remember who, but I contacted someone somewhere and I asked them like, so how much, like, some basic information. And they're like, yeah, it's like $10,000 for like a week course or something like that. And I was like,
Yep.
damn, like what the heck? Like that's a
Yep.
lot. That's
I
a
think I
lot.
paid 5 for but it was like a 40-hour week course, like 8 hours, 5 days a week. And then towards the end of the week, the guy's like, yeah, so ideally, like, you're training for a couple hours every night for the next year. And then after the next year, you'll be like good enough to start going to getting work. And I was like, what? And
Yeah.
at the time I'd already had the podcast and stuff. And I'm like, if I, I didn't read the book, The One Thing, but I'm like, man, maybe if I just focus on the podcast, like, the thing that I
Yeah.
already have going, maybe if I just keep my focus there and grow that, like that would be a better use of time, versus
Yeah.
like
Also,
another
so yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah. Because that was. Oh, yeah. You started the podcast. What you said, like 7 years ago, 8 years
Yeah,
ago.
2014. So like
Oh wow. Yeah. 9 years
nine.
ago. Oh,
But
okay.
I think I went to,
Yeah.
but yeah, my journey is like littered with just trying to get out of the detailing industry,
Oh,
and then it
is it
just
okay?
sucks me
Yeah.
deeper in every
How?
time.
Okay. Yeah. So how are you still doing? I see your videos, but like,
Oh
are those
yeah.
like customers vehicles or are
Oh
those
yeah,
like?
I'm still
Yeah.
doing
Okay.
a
Okay.
lot
Okay.
less. When I first got started, I was doing like office buildings and fleet work and just
Mm-hmm.
doing whatever work, similar to what you said. Like I was really struggling. And so I was doing, mobile detailing and doing 10, 12, 15 cars a day, just by myself, you know, and I had all these office buildings. And after doing that for like, I don't know, 6 years, I'm just like, man, I'm done. Like I'm exhausted and I'm burnt out, you know, because I've just done all the crap cars. And so I was looking for ways to make more money, you know, and I was listening to podcasts as I was detailing because everything was getting monotonous. And so I got fascinated with like online marketing and podcasts in general. And I was listening to like Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas, you know, back in the day. And so I was talking to a guy one day, this guy Pete that I know, and I was like, man, I really want to start a podcast. And I was thinking like a business podcast, but I kind of felt like a poser, you know, in a way, like I'm just a one-man band, like detailer. I'm going to like throw out these like business theories that I have, you know, like that'd be kind of weird. And so he was like, man, you're an idiot. Like, haven't you been detailing for a while? I'm like, yeah, like 6 years. He's like, why don't you start a podcast about detailing? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about detailing. Like I'm over it, you know? I'm trying to get out of it. And so, but when I looked, there was no podcast back in 2014. So I was like, well,
like,
maybe this is kind of like
no podcast.
There's a whole, you know? So, yeah, that's how I got into it, but I still detail, but what it's enabled me to do, because through that, my avenue was Google ads. That was kind of my aha for my detailing business, Google ads. And so when I found Google ads, I was like, whoa, very similar to what you found with SEO. And then I was like, I got to tell someone about this. Right. And so like same thing. And so, it's just sucked me in deeper, you know, which is great. So, but my point is that it's enabled me to do less and less cars. And I decided like, I didn't really want to have a big detail shop. That wasn't for me. I like, I like technology and systems and trying to scale with, scale with systems other than people. That's just kind of my style. I'm not a real good people manager, or at least a skill that I haven't focused on yet. So I still do cars. They just tend to be a little bit higher dollar per car, and I'm definitely not doing any office building details.
Because you have a shop, right? Or like a unit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just a small studio unit, you know.
And then so like because I see the content you post. So how do you do that? Like you just like every customer's car you have, you just, I mean, basically how everyone does it, you find what you can turn into content, and then you just
totally. And for me, it's like I try to do a lot of product reviews too, or torture tests, so that I could do them just like on a panel. So like when I was detailing, I came up with a list of all these things that I hated, like, and a lot of them revolved around things that I couldn't control. So like the weather, you know, that was like a big thing for me. We don't deal with a lot of weather in Southern California, but like if it's gonna rain on a Thursday, no one's calling Monday through Thursday. You know, so that like frustrated me. Right. And so when it came to content too, I tried to create like a structure or a template for content that I wasn't really reliant on other people. And so that came with like a lot of product testing. So I don't do a ton of like, this is my customer's car. This is like, I've seen your videos, like this is how much we charge for the detail. This is what we're doing, like the journey of the detail. I don't do too much of that. And that basically stemmed from, I was trying to find my, you know, avenue that worked on YouTube. And I didn't want to have to be relying on that continuous flow of cars, because I was always trying to get out of detailing. You know what I mean? I like literally always. But nothing worked. So
I think and I think that's like I think that's what people have to like start grasping more and more of if you're a detailer, and this applies to like literally any industry, but if you're like any service-based business, whether you're a landscaper, HVAC, mechanic, whatever, but like if you start creating content that can take you in so many different directions, that's no longer detailing. I mean, of course, like on top of detailing, there's so many content creators that like that amass a pretty big following that like can get just sponsored by other brands, or sell their own product line, or just affiliate links through Amazon or whatever, or offer training. Like there's like, I think everyone like, like if you're a detailer, like, and you're posting content, like that opens up so many more opportunities.
100%.
Not that you have to leave, but like that you could do so much more now than just detailing if you have just the whereabouts of like, oh, I can do something else. So yeah, that's a cool opportunity for sure that I think more and more detailers have to take advantage of, because even if you get a shop, if you offer just one training a month, I don't know, one day training, like I don't know, making up numbers here, $500, but it's like you can just apply that $500 to your rent, and like you don't feel that pressure as much. Of like, oh my god, like I gotta pay $1,200 a month for rent. It's like just that little thing right there can like starts to be, oh, that was kind of, what if I do two trainings in one day, like two people one time? That's $1,000.
Yep.
So
That's how I got my first shop. That's how I justified my first shop. Was that like my YouTube was covering the rent. And so I'm like, all right, I don't need to worry about it. Like I can, I call it like moving the boat close to the dock. Like, I didn't have to, the jump wasn't as big because I had this YouTube money coming in that was going to cover the rent, So you're 100% right.
Yeah. Like, this guy, Juan from, Sweets Detailing, same thing. He was very hesitant on getting a shop. And he's been on the podcast 2 or 3 times, and he's had some detailers like just DM him for some help or whatever. But I was like, if you get the shop, like just offer training. I don't know how many people would sign up, or but like just do it, like just offer interior detailing training, or offer your something.
Totally.
Because like you have a shop now, like someone can come
and
drive
to
it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like what we talked about before we started recording. It's like you already know it, you already have the knowledge, you're already doing it, And for people just listening, I was talking about doing a video podcast, and I'm like, ugh, video. We probably should just do audio. And Oscar's like, come on, man, we're content creators. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But same with Juan. It's like, dude, you already know how to do it. Now you have the shop and the knowledge. You just got to put it together.
Yeah, right? And the crazy thing is, like, no one ever like Angel. He's an employee of ours. Like he's our lead installer, our lead vinyl installer. And again, like January 9th, he wrapped his first panel ever. It was on my Forerunner. And a few months later, we said, yeah, let's offer vinyl wrap services. So from there, I was like, all right, we need to start getting a bunch of reps. So again, I like whatever we could wrap, whatever free time we had, like he was wrapping something. So we sent him the training or whatever. But let's say all in all, he has like 6 months of experience, right? And he's a content creator as well, so he'll post vinyl wrapping videos on Instagram, TikTok. But you have people DMing him with only 6 months of training of experience, of like, hey bro, like, can you teach me how to vinyl wrap? Dang. And the thing is, like, you only need to be a few steps ahead.
100%.
Because like, if like, not that he's an expert, but he can help a complete newbie get them from a 0 to a 4 than what they can on their own, going from a 0 to a 2. So it's just crazy. Like, you just have to be a little more experienced than someone to help them out with something.
100%. 100%. So bring us to present day with your business and your content. Obviously, you got a pretty big shop. Do you still have 2 shops or 2 different areas of it? Or was that a while back that I was watching a video?
No, yeah, it's still 2 units. Okay. Like they're side by side. So if there was a door, we'd consider it like 1 unit, but it is technically 2. Like there's 2 different suite numbers.
Got it.
So yeah, it's 5,000 square feet. Our first one that we got is 1,500 square feet, and then the second one is 3,000 square feet. And the second one is the one that has like office space. Like there's 2 hallways. Two offices. Okay. And then this is the office that I'm in right now. But yeah, as far as it's like the biggest thing, the biggest differences that we've done now is, 2 years ago, or let's say when we got the shop, which is like I'm looking at the calendar, like 2.5 months ago, we were
2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years ago.
Got it.
When we first got the shop, we were 100% mobile, right? Because it's hard to make that transition to just get everyone to come to the shop now. But 2.5 years ago, when we got the shop, we were obviously 100% mobile. Slowly over time, it dropped to like 90% mobile, 10% shop, and then it got to like 80% mobile, 20% shop.
So how'd you do that? Was it picking up different clients or just shifting those clients over? Because that may be something that people are curious about.
Yeah, so we try to that's always been the goal. Like that's everyone's goal. Get away from mobile and come to the 100%. Shop. That's everyone's goal. There's no 100%. Doubt about that. Now, and it's interesting to see because like where we are right now as a business, or even myself as like a human being, as a business owner, you look back 2.5 years ago and it's like that Oscar wasn't prepared to do what he's doing right now, right? It's like your business will only grow to the capacity that you can handle it, right? So it's like if I look back, like if I would try to do what I do right now, the services would have failed, the products would have failed because I was not that guy yet that could facilitate those new opportunities. But yeah, so in the beginning, it's always a bit of fear of like, well, how do we like we're still gonna be mobile because like, what if they don't come to the shop? You know, like we're still
Right.
like, let's still book out the mobile schedule. So the biggest thing, like for sure, the biggest difference was that we limited. Now I will say like this only works if you have a consistent flow of leads and customers coming to your business. So
Great
what I'm about
point.
to say only works if like there's a pipeline of customers willing to pay you the money for your services. That's the only way it works. But we basically said, okay, look, just limit the mobile availability to like 2 details a week. So we're not cutting out mobile detailing, but if you want a mobile detail spot, our next availability isn't until 3 weeks from now on Thursday at 1 p.m. But if you want it done sooner, we have this week at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Would you want to wait and schedule out 3 weeks, or do you want to bring it to us this Wednesday? 8 out of 10 times they're like, oh, I'll bring it to you. Boom, done
Got
deal.
it.
And again, like we do lose mobile customers because we don't book them in because they want a mobile
Will you still
detailer.
go mobile even today?
Very limited. Like now we're like
Okay.
90-10 probably. 90
Okay.
shop, 10 mobile. Yeah.
Okay.
So we still do it. But like again, like it's important to have like a consistent flow of qualified leads coming in, because if we do go mobile, it has to probably be like a minimum of like $400 to go mobile.
Sure.
Like we're not going out for like a wash or like a, I don't know, some basic services.
Right.
So again, like we do definitely lose out on customers because we're trying to book, because we book the shop more, and we just, and don't get me wrong, I do miss mobile detailing. Like working at a shop does get kind of boring. Like it gets very like, okay, like
Feels like you work for someone, huh? It's like, all right, going to the office.
Yeah, because it's the same thing every day. Like it's the same
Right.
4 walls, it's the same lighting.
Yes.
Like it does get boring. With mobile, the best thing is like you're always moving around. It's nice weather. You're gonna go eat over here this time. Oh,
Right.
this is a nice
Talking to
neighborhood.
different
Like
people. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So and a big thing too, why we won't give up mobile detailing is for the videos as well. Because bar none, like even for myself, the mobile job days are way better as far as content than just working at the shop. You're moving the camera around, different whatever. Like you're getting in and out of the van. You're like, it's just so much more entertaining.
It's much easier to create content too when you actually have the work in front of you, right?
Yeah. Like it's much different versus the shop. Like it's like, oh, it's the same like same angle that I did from the last 30 videos. Like this,
same backdrop.
It's a time lapse. Like here we go. Like yeah. So that's why we won't give up mobile as well. But like I said, like we're like 90% shop. So mobile, it's not like it eats into our. We also just dropped we dropped our last remaining mobile maintenance customer as well. He was weekly every Friday, but we also dropped that one just because it wasn't making sense. It was long overdue.
Yeah.
But he was nice.
It's hard to cut off. I know,
especially when they're nice. Like there's another customer where
it's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. There's another customer where it's like we were trying to politely like, hey, next availability is not till like a month from now, and they're like, that's okay.
Right,
and
great.
We're like,
sure,
yeah, and
whenever.
it's like, yeah, and it's like, and the pricing is gonna be 300. It's like, oh, that's fine too. I was like, oh well, we can't tell you no. Like you're too nice. Like well, of course we'll go do it then. Yes,
Right.
of course we'll book you in, man. That's absolutely. So yeah, it does get hard, especially for nicer customers. You're like, well, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to tell you no.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we dropped our last
because weekly actually becomes, it's interesting because like customers sometimes will like hold that over your head, like, oh, I want you to come out every week. And I remember when I started getting good at Google ads, and like you said, it's 100% true. Like you got to have a successful business, you got to have leads coming in, right? And a pipeline and all that. And so once you have that coming, I had, for me, like I thought the ultimate was to have like days booked out every week, going to a specific place. So for a long time there, like 3 or 4 of my full days were booked out going to like an office park, right? But then what I realized is like, this actually isn't good for like a growing business, because I can't fit these details in where I'm going to make more money in 3 or 4 hours than I would working in 6 hours, So it's interesting how people think that it's better to have like that weekly client. But for me, and maybe I'm wrong and maybe your experience is different, but like I actually started to not like weekly stuff because it felt like it came around too quick and then it didn't give me enough availability in my calendar.
No, yeah, I feel the exact same way. And it depends on your setup too. But like when people talk about like, oh, I want like weekly customers or like bi-weekly or like more like a maintenance program for multiple customers, I'm like, dude, like that will eat into your schedule so hard because even when we were trying to like, when we would book a
like
a correction and coding, right?
Right. Yeah.
For, well, you know, Thursday and Friday, and you have these two customers that are, one's like 20 minutes away, one's 30 minutes away, then another 25-minute drive back.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, just to service these two customers, we're losing half the day, where there's a $1,200 job here at the shop.
Right.
But we literally have to leave to go do that. And it's like, it eats into your, so like if you had a dedicated maintenance van with a dedicated crew, I could 100%, I could see that. But what I've
seen a lot of people do that and then shut it down secretly. Yeah, I've seen it happen with people.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, like for instance, like now that we're offering vinyl wrap and PPF and correction and coding, it's like, bro, like these jobs are now $1,200, $1,800, $3,400, $5,000. Like
I'm not going for $200.
Yeah,
no. Like I'm not even gonna wake up for that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like prioritizing, like why would we go and lose time, not money, but like lose time to go do this maintenance job when it's like, bro, look at this car that we have here. Like, why would we not prioritize these customers?
Right.
But I definitely do see, like I've toyed around with the idea of like, I wonder how it would look if I just created a separate brand that all they did was do $25 washes all day long. Like no interior work, no, like it's literally just like you get there, you wash the vehicle in under like 10 minutes, and then you go to the next vehicle. Not that I would, but like
it's not very fun.
Yeah, but I would, like not me run it, like another team would run it. Because then it's like, you know, like you're not worried about like swirl free car wash. You just get there, wash things.
Well, and it could be a good cash flow thing, right? You know, that cash flow is another important thing for businesses. So that could be a potential cash flow. It just goes, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, like it's, you're not doing correction and coding. You don't have to be super specialized, like just very basic, like foam it down, bucket of wash. But that's just a thing, like I wouldn't do it, but it's like, I wonder how that would look.
Yeah, maybe we'll try it.
Yeah, like for people that just want a wash, like there's a lot of people that just want to wash, like a very affordable, very quick, like in and out wash. But the odds of me doing that, basically zero. But yeah. So now with the PPF and vinyl, like, that's another thing though. It's like, at first we did offer smoke odor removal mobile. We did one job and we were like, we're not doing that. That's we're not. The ozone machine. We run it for 3 to 6 hours at a time.
The downtime.
The weather, just leaving a machine running out there, like it's not optimal.
Yes.
It's not safe to like inhale that. Like like if someone were to open up the door and just like, you know, that's obviously not good either. So
odor removal was something I tried to do in houses and apartments. That was one of the businesses I tried to get out of detailing. There was a guy in Arkansas, because you could charge by the square foot. So they were charging like 25 cents a square foot. And there was a guy, not to cut you off, sorry, but there was a guy in Arkansas like killing it with odor removal. And I'm like, dude, all you got to do is drop off this machine and come back in 6 hours. Like, are you kidding me? Then that's the problem, is that you got to drop it off and then come back, you know? And it's like, if you're an hour away for a job, you know, you drive out an hour, set up the machines, and then wait 6 hours and then go back. And it's like, geez, that sucks.
Did you,
like
did you go through the whole, how'd you get to the point? Like we took the ICRC class for smoke odor, for fire restoration, and we just applied it to cars. And when Lex took the class, he asked some like specific like cloth car questions, because that's what we're gonna work on. But yeah, we are ICRC certified for smoke odor removal for fire restorations.
I went, there was like the national, it was totally made up back in the day. This is probably, what year would this have been? I think this was even before the podcast. I think this is maybe like 2012-ish, maybe. Yeah, probably around 2011, 2012. There was like this National Ozone Association, it was called, something like that. And they had like courses and trainings and their own made up certifications. And that's where I found this guy in Arkansas that was like killing it. And that's how I found what machines and output and all that stuff. So I just did a bunch of courses on that, but I didn't do what you're talking about. But
did you buy like the ozones and all that, like the machines and all that?
Yeah. Bought
they're
big
expensive,
machines,
right? Yeah,
and they're expensive. Yeah,
because I mean, even ours for like a little, the babyest one for a car was $1,000. So I can only imagine how big the ones you had to purchase.
Yeah, they were pretty big. I think they were couple grand each,
Yeah.
but it's like with anything, and it all applies to the next thing. So I learned a lot about odor removal,
Yeah.
so, but I don't do it
Yeah,
anymore
yeah.
other than cars, but yeah.
Yeah, so with that one, yeah, when we did one mobile job, smoke odor removal, and we're like, bro, we're not doing that.
Did you
So
guys just hang out and wait for it, or did you leave it and come back, or?
we left because it's like it was just no. On the first time ever, because we were still learning it, we waited for like an hour thinking that was
Okay,
gonna be enough. But then
got
once
it.
we after that, we're like, yeah, no, these have to be at the shop. So
Yeah.
so we were like, okay, smoke odor, like if they wanna come to us, like it has to be at the shop.
Hmm.
And then from there, it trickled down to like, well, obviously correction and coatings that now has to be at the shop.
Yeah.
And then we used to, or not like this is way back when, but like we used to do mobile jobs, just engine cleanings for like
Okay.
$50.
Yeah.
But then we were like, all right, we're not going mobile for an engine cleaning. So if they want an engine cleaning, it has to be at the shop. We charge 80 now for the engine cleanings, but like if they want it done, it has to be at the shop. And then what other services do we? Obviously, vinyl PPF, like that's obviously going to be at the shop. Um, yeah, those services. So it's like that started like cementing like some core services at the shop.
Yeah.
And then from
I
there just
like
kept on,
that.
yeah, but the main thing was the like just cut off the mobile van availability.
I like
It's still
that.
it's still there, just
Hmm.
far more limited than
No, I
than
think
our
that's a
shop
great.
schedule.
I think that's a great tip to do that, because I know there's probably a lot of people out there looking to. Once you have a shop, man, mobile's mobile's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. And like I said, yeah, and it does get scary, yeah, because like we had the same thing of like, what if they don't come to the shop though? Like what if,
Right.
and that's the thing, like people always ask, like, well, how'd you get your current customers to move to the shop? And
Hmm.
it's like we definitely have customers that were mobile that come to the shop, but that's the importance of like having a pipeline full of new leads.
100%.
Most of the customers that come to the shop are first time customers, and
Mm.
after that, they now know, oh, they have like their shop detail shop.
Right.
Like
They don't even know you're
there's no
mobile.
mobile, right? Like they
Right.
just come to the
Right.
shop now.
Hmm.
Yeah, but even within, like another thing that surprised me about the shop, off topic now, is the walk-ins. That thing was,
Oh.
yeah, that I didn't expect walk-ins to happen, but I remember
Right.
we moved in, as far as like we moved something into the shop on Tuesday, and Wednesday someone came in asking for an interior cleaning, and then Thursday we had it in the shop, and I was like, man, that was crazy. Like a walk-in, like me and
Right.
Lex were like, we've never had this before.
Are
Like,
you by like a grocery store center or a shopping center, or?
not retail space,
Okay.
but like down the road, it's like a main street, but I don't think it's that though. It's just, well, and this is a big benefit part to mobile, is that I looked at all the customers over the last like 2.5 years ago, before we got the shop. I looked at all the all my customers, but I'm
Hmm.
mobile, so all the mobile customers, and I looked at like where are most of our customers from, and I just went by zip code, and like I kind of boned it
Oh,
together.
okay. Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so 40, what is it? I think like 46.3% of our customers were in the Tomba area. So I was like, well, I'm gonna look for a shop in the Tomba area.
Yeah. Smart.
So I think that really helped as well. So yeah, so it's not like there's we're not like in a shopping center. This is a business. It's a small business park.
Got it.
There's a lot of other business industrial parks around here. The shopping center is like down the road.
Okay.
Like I couldn't walk to it if I
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to.
I was just curious if someone just happened to be, because that
Yeah.
seems really
Yeah, no.
fast for someone
So
to
it's cool
notice
that
you.
like, yeah, like, so that means like people are looking, like they just type in detailer
Yeah.
Houston or detailer Tomba, and they're like,
Hmm.
it's crazy because when we're just working or doing whatever, and it's like you have this walk in just out of nowhere that's
Right.
like, hey, like it turns to like maybe like a $300 job, an
Yeah.
$800 job,
Yeah. All of a
a
sudden you're like, I like
$1,400
shop
job. You're
life.
like, wow,
Yeah.
like that's crazy. You just came in here and you just gave us that money for the services.
So
That part's crazy.
have
Go
you
good.
looked at, I just had a quick question, or a random question, that have you looked at, obviously you're offering additional services that are cost more in your shop, but one thing I think would be interesting to look at is like your average order value, or your average value per customer being mobile versus your average customer value like as a fixed shop location. Because one thing that I noticed when I got a shop is like people stopped trying to negotiate the price like they did
Mm.
when I was mobile. Like I don't feel, at least in my area, and I guess it could be different anywhere, I don't feel like the respect and the legitimacy is there for mobile detailers. as there is with like, there's something about like a fixed location shop that's like, oh, this guy's here, he's not going out of business, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
I think I get what you're saying. I think I agree with that. Like, there's more validity in like oh, it's actual
Validity,
business.
maybe.
Like
Yeah.
they have there's a physical location that I drive
Mm-hmm.
to. So yeah, but we definitely still get people like wanting to complain about pricing and such. But again,
Yeah.
like but again, going back to like the same thing of like we're okay losing customers that want to like
Sure.
try to bargain with us or something. But I can see that. Maybe not in the. I don't think that affects because for sure now, since the shop, like naturally, like we're just booking in like high. Yeah, like
Yeah.
as a whole, like we weren't taking small jobs mobile either. Like we weren't going out for just a wash, but now at
Mm-hmm.
the shop, like it's just easier to book in higher paying jobs. So
Mm-hmm.
I think like as like just as a general statement, especially like now offering vinyl and PPF, like
Right.
you know when
Yeah, the
that
tickets are way higher.
when those jobs book, like it's
Yeah.
way bigger than anything detailing related. Yeah, because like you know the most we can charge for a correction code, depending on the size of the vehicle and such, but the most we've charged was 2,000 for
Right.
a correction and coding. But like
Which is pretty high still, right? I mean,
yeah,
for
it was on a Tundra, and it was
Okay.
a like water spots out the wazoo. We we probably underquoted that one, to be honest. Like we wet sanded and everything. But for PPF, like on a front end, it'd be 4,000 on a, you know, depending on how complex and what the
Sure.
front end means, but it's like 4,000 just to install it on the front end, or you know, $3,000 for a vinyl wrap, you know. So like the price difference is like
Yeah,
definitely there
massive.
between those services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So bring us to thriving detailing business. You pick up all the online stuff. That's doing extremely well too. And then as of yesterday, I think, right? Congrats. At least at
Thank
the
you.
time when we're recording this, you launched your own car care brand. Which when I reached out to you to come on the podcast, I really didn't even realize it. And then I'm like, oh, that worked out pretty cool. You know, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
But tell us kind of the theory or the thought behind it, and then how it's been going over the past 24 hours.
Yeah. That one was, I think, the most difficult part of that whole process was just trying to find the time to be able to like just to work on things. So like as far as how I launched it, it wasn't a good launch. Like I was more excited just to say it's live than think like I knew the launch wasn't going to be like some crazy launch because like the last few things we were waiting on, like the launch was like version 0.001. Like there was not like I didn't make any videos on proper care. I didn't make a YouTube video about it. I didn't everything was so last second. I was like, oh, I need to get a photo to post it on Instagram real quick. So as far as the launch, I knew it wasn't gonna be like a super big launch because like months and months, like I would try to work on something, and what draws me away a lot is like because we still detail cars, obviously. So
Right.
when it's like you know, we try not to do this, but like we overbook ourselves sometimes,
Sure.
and it's like okay, now all hands on deck because you know whatever. So a lot of the times where I thought I was trying to make time to work on something for the product line, either like a full day or like 3 days goes away to just detailing cars, and then it backs me up on the content, on Detail Groove, on the courses, on the product care, on the proper care product. So so at the heart, like it's like I'm trying to give like an analogy, like when you, the way I looked at it is like the launch was like the first day of the gym.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's like I'm more excited now about what the results are going to look like 12 months from now,
Yeah.
not just the first day that you signed up and got your first session in. So it
Which
like
is probably better in a way.
probably right. Yeah, it just long term.
Yeah, because you're not like, and then two, you're not disappointed in anything. You know, like if you didn't sell everything out, right, you're not disappointed that you didn't do that because you had all this effort and energy in the buildup, right, to sell one product or whatever. I'm sure you sold more than one.
No,
but,
yeah. It was a good, like for what we did, I was very happy with the results. It wasn't like a sellout or anything like that. Yeah. We moved some products, but honestly, like, and going back to your point of like setting expectations, I didn't even check. I could not tell you how much we made yesterday because I didn't check, because like this is now like over so many years offering new services or whatever we've done. It's like I'm just already focused on like on the next steps. Like I said, like if I spent like 4 months planning the launch and sending PR boxes to different detailers and putting a couple grand in Facebook ads for the, like, I would be kind of sweating the launch because like, hey, like I got to make some money back right now to try to offset the launch marketing dollars. But because again, like, yeah, like I already knew, like I'm already focused on just the consistency over time. Like that's what I'm more excited about. Because yeah, like best analogy is like the whole gym thing. Like again, like what's it gonna look like 12 months, 18 months from now? And yeah, so I was very relieved to say like it's live. Like it's finally live. But already right now, like there's already like a lot of things that I'd like to do to like actually post more content and generate more leads. But yeah, like I think like 10 minutes after we launched it, like I was like, I could already tell you 50 things that I did wrong leading up to this day.
I think people like to see that though. Like I think it's okay to not be, and this could be my own theory, but I think it's even potentially better that it's not like super dialed in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do a deep dive on a podcast episode, breaking everything down on like what, like the mistakes and what I could have done differently to like get it out sooner and just better. Like I kept on like, I got in my head too of like, well, it's a physical product now, so like everything has to be perfect, right? And it's like, so I would make little progress on either writing out the product description or going back and forth with the manufacturer or trying to get another designer for the label and things like that. And like looking back, I was like, I should have just done an APC and launched it like that, like just to, because whether I launched with 7 products or 1 product, like I'm going to go through the same thing. Like, okay, well, you have to get it on Shopify. You have to list it. You have to plan a launch date. You have to order inventory. You have to get boxes. You have to get the packing material. You have to get labels. Like, I would have learned the exact same thing launching one product than trying to launch 12 products. Like, exact same thing. And with launching one product, I would have got it out sooner. I would have been able to promote it much sooner. Like, because have you seen the other like Proper Care, the other social channels and such?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, yeah. There's another 3 set of channels that we do: TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Mainly the Instagram, yeah.
And all along with that, it's like I never had, other than Amazon affiliate links, which is it's like it helps. Don't get me wrong, but like,
yeah, it's not
because I for a while, and this is like a bad strategy move on my part too, where like I had an editor, and we would like work on Proper Care videos for a long time. But the problem with that is like it never had a direct correlation to revenue because we had no products to sell. And again, like affiliate links help, but like to actually pay for an editor to spend his actual billable hours on a non-revenue generating thing was not. So like even back then, like if I would have just had one product to be able to sell, I could have connected the editor's time to the revenue that we're generating, and that would have justified having someone spend so much time on this project. So now moving forward, it's like, well, now that there's an actual like ROI, or like we're actually generating revenue from this brand, you know, putting someone on this project makes sense because like money's actually coming out of it. So like, yeah, like I spent all the time creating videos, and like we built a following. It's like 20,000 on YouTube or like 40,000 on TikTok, but it's like I didn't sell anything. there was no, and again, like back to my part, like I didn't promote trying to build the email list for it. I was just basically
had it out there.
I just need content. I just let's build the audience.
Did you push your courses at all in that, or like? Because I'm curious, like digital versus physical. I know it's only been 24 hours with the physical stuff, so I'm not looking for an answer. But I'm curious what your theory might be between, you know, physical versus digital products. You know.
Oh man, it's a major difference.
Or is that the $1 million question?
No, yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah, because even like before we launched it, I was like, man, I feel like I'm missing some things, because when I launched the courses, like I could do everything myself. I write an email and like it goes out, but like with the product, with the physical, it's like, bro, people are actually going to be on the website and they're going to order this, and like I have to physically ship it out to them. And, like, yeah,
it's actually like a lot of work.
And that's another thing that kind of scared me the whole time. It's like there's days where I get so drowned in like doing detail work, and then I go and try to knock out like a podcast real quick, and then my day's gone, and then I'm like, well, what if I get orders, and that like how do I divvy up the time with that? And that's something I was very fearful of like what do I do then? Like the orders have to go out. Like I can't let them just stack up. So that was another thing that I was like kind of very nervous about. I have help for it now, but like that was like it's a whole different set of responsibilities that you're placing out. It's like for someone physically orders something, like they're expecting something in their driveway like within a week now. Like so it's a lot different. So that's been like a very scary thing of like it's a physical product.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as what was your question? I forgot.
Like, I was just thinking, and obviously you don't have data on it yet, but just the difference between, because you've been selling courses for a while,
Oh,
and
as
so
far
you
as
have
like
kind of that digital versus physical, what you expect. Do you expect that the physical revenue will outpace the digital revenue,
Oh, okay,
or?
got you. Okay, yeah. So with that one, I think long-term vision, not right, like right now, the digital
Sure.
courses
Yeah.
for
And
sure, like
yeah.
flat out for sure.
Yeah.
But like over the next 10 years, I would want the physical to
Okay.
heavily outweigh the digital. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
I
because
guess that's a better way I could restate my question. Like, I guess as you're continuing on this journey of yours, like, what is the having the physical products? Are you working towards like a goal of, or what is the journey that you're working towards? Do you want a bigger detailing business and a product line? Do you only want a product line and
yeah,
content? Like, I
yeah.
guess question around that, I guess.
No, that's a good question. I could speak at lengths about this because that's something that like yeah, there's like so many, again, going back to like if you create content online, the opportunities you have,
Yeah.
assuming you just obviously a bunch of other things have to be in place for you to capitalize on those opportunities. But yeah, it's like if anyone creates content, like you have so many more opportunities that you can go after. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, yeah, so like right now, yeah, like for sure, like if you look at like a one for one, like the profit margin and the amount of work you do to launch a physical product is nothing close, or yeah, it is nowhere near a digital course, because
Yeah.
the digital course, depending like what it all entails, but like one person for the most part can
Yeah. It's your
have
knowledge
a
too.
a $10,000 $50,000 weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just whereas with physical products, like talking to the manufacturer, getting labels, getting them shipped, getting them inventoried, launching it, and then when someone purchases the order, it might be for one 16-ounce bottle for $15, so like, and then the biggest thing with e-commerce is the cash flow part,
Mm.
because if you spend 3,000 in inventory, and let's assuming you have no good terms with the manufacturer, and like it's all just cash or debit, but cash, it's like you spend 3,000 on inventory, you have to wait for it to come in, you have to prepare and then launch it. So like you don't see that money back until maybe 2, 3, 4 months, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have to place the other order before the other order runs out. So then you tie up another So it's like, yeah, so
Right.
it's a completely different structure and business than digital courses, because digital courses, like it's on demand, like you just
Right.
sign up now, like you get it right
Mm-hmm.
now. But yeah, long term wise, yeah, like I would like to say the proper care physical products, I would want that to outweigh the digital courses, more so because it allows you to be a lot more creative, and it
Mm.
allows you to be more. It's a physical product, but it allows you to have like it's like a deeper. It's gonna sound kind of weird, but like a deeper connection with
Mm-hmm.
the audience, because like you're
Oh.
physically, tangibly like, here's my thing to you, and I look at brands that I like, Bear Performance Nutrition. If you Nick Bear,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so some of them of like, you can see the effort, you can see the impact that he has with people,
Mm-hmm.
and again, not just like through YouTube videos, but like through the marathon that he holds, that
Mm-hmm.
VPN holds, or through that Go
Right.
and More Club, and it's like, and this came from like when I would meet some detailers in person, and it's just like someone telling you like, you've helped me quit my job, or you've helped me make more, or whatever. It's like when you
Mhm.
hear it in person, you're like, dang, like I just post videos, but like it actually
Right.
impacts you. But I'm saying the product line is like an extension of that. Like, here's a physical thing that I can create that can also help you continue your journey
Mm.
in your business. So it's like it's like a deeper connection. Not to sound weird, but
Mm-hmm.
like
No, yeah, I
at
get
least to
it.
me, like it's like, yes, like here I'm also physically helping you now with your product line. Because I was trying to find a video from so long ago that it said, this is like 2018 probably, of like, I'm never gonna create products, but I'll never say never. So yeah,
Right.
I need to find that video. But yeah, so that was the goal behind it, of like,
Just like you're never gonna go mobile. You're never gonna
yeah,
have a crew to go mobile, right?
yeah, exactly. But I was thinking, yeah, like, well, what's a way that like, what's another way that I can help detailers
Mm.
that's not just
Mm-hmm.
through courses. So yeah, so it's that. It's another project. It's another thing, because I it gets kind of boring just doing courses. Like
Yeah.
I like being more creative. I want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to do. I just want to be more creative.
Yeah.
That's another big thing. Like when you launch a course, like, don't get me wrong, like I love helping people on that side as well. But as far as like creativity wise
Mm.
and being able to just kind of do different things or work on different projects or work with different detailers, like physical products kind of lends to that more than digital courses. The barrier to the cost is much different too. Like if someone wants to support you or they want to try something out,
yeah, good point.
$15, a $30 shirt. So it also allows other fan supporters to try out your products. Versus a course where if you're selling it a $200, $500, $1,200 service, like our product, that's going to be for a specific set of people. And yeah, like you can just build more of a. I just feel like you can build more of a more of a community with physical products. And don't get me wrong, like this whole time with Detail Group, like I built a community. Like there's an actual community there, but it's just like another extension of like, well, how else can I help detailers? And of course, like it's fun. I've been detailing now for 12 years. I've been doing Detail Group for 8 years.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, what's like a new project? Like what's something what's
the next
what's something exciting? Yeah, like
yeah. Well, that's a good point because it gets hard to be excited to keep it going.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like what else would excite me? Like if I were to just keep on posting Instagram videos and launching courses, would I be happy to do that for the next 10 years? Probably not. Like
it gets very boring.
Yeah,
it really does.
So another thing is like I it's a new project. Like it's a new thing, and I've always liked learning about e-commerce, right? Like podcasts and books and whatever. Like, oh, it's cool. Like launching. I never thought I would do it myself, but like, oh, that's really fun. Like if some e-commerce brand were to contact me and they're like, hey, like we'd like to hire you as a marketing director, I'd be like, possibly, actually. Like that sounds kind of fun, actually.
Totally.
So then it's like, well, why can't
so much better that you get to do it for yourself?
Yeah. So exactly. So it's like, yeah. So why don't I just like try to do my own e-commerce thing? So there's like a multitude of things that like led me to be like, yeah, I'll launch my own products. Yeah. So again, like I'm looking at it over the next 10 years, not like how did this first launch go? Like there's a lot of things I'll be working on over the next 12 months of like actually getting the because like I want to build like an actual brand where it's like it's not just selling products, but like this guy actually tries to help me succeed in what I'm trying to do.
And I think that's what people want, right? They don't want like just a brand that is on the shelf. They want to feel like you talked about. They want to feel that connection. They want to feel like they're supporting. They want to feel like they're going to get help if they need help too with the product, And so I think all those things, I think you're totally spot on that.
Yeah. And it took me a while to actually get to that point of like saying yes. And like, again, like I had the Detail Groove merch in my possession probably over a year. But it's like every time I try to work on something, like something would happen or something, and it's like, well, next week, on Monday, I'll reschedule for Monday task, and then that literally just snowballed to like over a year. But it's crazy how you learn things. And another point though is like, you won't learn as much as you think you'll know or like you'll prepare until you actually go do the thing. You like, it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Totally.
Like that's what, like 10 minutes after I launched it, I was like, oh, yeah, I see 50 things of like what I did wrong. Like,
sure.
But you won't know.
But that's what makes it exciting though, right? Is like, oh, then you can go work on those things, which is then a self-fulfilling kind of circle, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like as soon as I launched it, I'm like, man, I'm already excited for like over the next 12 months. Like I'm excited what I'm gonna work on and what we're gonna do. Yeah. So it was definitely a journey. Yeah. And it's cool to see like detailers that like, hey, I've been following you since your HHR days, and now I see you with a shop I was like, damn, you've been following me for like a fat minute. Like, appreciate it. That's crazy. Like when I see people say that, I'm like, it just takes me back. Like, wow, like you've been following Detail.
I always want to follow that with like,
while.
I'm sorry, man. That's a lot of my voice. That's a lot of me. I would probably be sick of me by then.
but it's crazy because I have content creators that I'm like, I've been following you since
true.
Since I was like like since 2013. Like there's people that like I've watched almost every video.
And it's cool to see their journey, and you want to support them and you want to do all the things that people are telling to you too,
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How can I don't want to talk all about your product line and then not be able to do it. So how could people buy your product if they want?
Yeah, go to propercareusa.com and they'll be there on the website. But I don't want to be too salesy either, so I'll leave it at that.
I love shameless plugs. That's my favorite. But hey, we went just right about over an hour. I think we did it. I think we could go on for multiple more hours.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do one thing I really like to do, honestly, is like follow-up podcasts. So I've done it a lot with this guy who Paul Frasco in Massachusetts, and he has like beer nights, and he does all these like creative marketing things for his detail business that are really cool. So he like has all these ideas, and then he actually does it, which I think is really cool. And then we do like follow-up podcast episodes every, I don't know, 6, 8, 12 months, and talk about that. And I think that would be cool to do that with you too, with Proper Care and everything. Like, maybe don't wait 5 years.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
But maybe a couple times a year or something like that, follow up and just see how it's going. And I think that'd be really cool.
What part of California are you in?
Southern California. So Orange County.
Relative to Long Beach and...
Oh, I'm right next to Long Beach.
Oh, you
south,
are? Okay.
Just south, yeah.
Okay,
just south of Long Beach.
because there's a... Next year, I think, if schedule allows, like there's an IndyCar race in March.
Okay.
At Long Beach. I'd like to... Well, I'm saying maybe we can meet up then and have an in-person podcast.
Absolutely.
That'd
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'm like right there. It's probably
awesome.
Downtown Long Beach.
Yeah.
If people are listening and don't know who you are, which I'm sure is very few, how can they follow you, find your YouTube channel? I know you talked about the product brand, but how can they follow you on YouTube and all your socials? Be a little salesy.
Yeah. You can just go to Detail Groove, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube.
Perfect.
Just go to Detail Groove, and that's where you'll find most of my... From there, you'll find everything else. So just look up Detail Groove, and you'll find me.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate with all the things that you got going on, honestly, that you took an hour out of your day to spend it with me. So I appreciate it.
All right. No, thank you, Jimbo.